What if I gave you 3 simple tips that will help you increase your concentration on studies for long hours? And what if I told you that this one single activity of being able to focus will single-handedly take you to the path of success? Happy watching! Hey, this is Chetna and you're watching Chet Chat, one of the largest online career and higher education chat shows. And today we're talking about how to increase your focus and concentration on your studies for long hours. Now, before we begin, let me tell you that in every subsequent video, I'm going to give a shout out to one of you right here in the video. Put a comment under the video with a hashtag ChetChatters, and I'm going to pick one of the most interesting comments and flash it up on my next video. And also remember to press that subscribe button, and the bell icon is very important for you to get to know when we post our next video. Okay, so today's masterclass is on how to focus and concentrate on your studies for long hours. And in this, I will give you 3 tips, and at the end of the video, I will also give you 3 bonus tips, so keep watching. But before that, let's look at the real problem. And shh, let me tell you a secret. People that are successful don't feel any of these problems. But the question is, how do we become like that? And tip number 1 is called programming. Now imagine you're driving in a car down this beautiful mountainous track. Now, what if you're sitting in the back seat of the car? Chances are, initially, you're going to be looking out to see what's the scenery, or you're going to be looking in front to see that can I keep track of the route. But after some time, I guarantee you, you're going to get bored and you're going to either start looking at your phone, or you're going to fall off to sleep, or you're going to be asking the driver, how long is this going to take? Now, just imagine that you are in the driver's seat. Now, no matter how many distractions are there, how much you feel hunger, thirst, or your phone is ringing, you're going to cut out everything and focus entirely on every oncoming vehicle and hairpin bend. Now, why such a big difference? The question is, in our lives, are we in the driver's seat or is someone else driving our vehicle? Are we taking charge or are we blaming someone else for our problems? Now, our brain is a superpower. Control it before it rules you. Distraction and direction are inversely proportional. When one goes up, the other one comes down. Now, the reason I call this programming is because every day you think it's easy, but every day when you wake up, chances are you're going to slip right back into your old way of thinking. And which is why each morning when you wake up, ask yourself, am I in the driver's seat of my life? Have I taken responsibility for everything that happens to me today? And soon it's going to become a habit. How to increase your focus and concentration, tip number 2 is called practice. Now, no one ever taught you how to concentrate. Your parents just tell you, concentrate karo. But no one tells us how to do it. Now, attention is a muscle. And just like every other muscle in the body, it requires training. Now, Malcolm Gladwell said that in order to become an expert at something, you need to spend 10,000 hours learning it. Now, guess what happens to us every day? We spend about 15 to 16 hours being distracted. We're talking to someone, we're checking the phone. We're reading a book, we're checking our laptop. And guess what you're becoming an expert at? At distraction. So today, I'm going to teach you something that you will follow initially just for 10 minutes in your day. And eventually, you're going to become a master at your own focus and concentration. Today, take out 10 minutes of time where you can be alone and comfortable in a room, and which is a room that you enjoy studying in. Now, finish all your eating and drinking before you go into that room and keep your phone and laptop outside. Since this is your first training session, we're going to start with your favorite subject. So take one textbook, don't take 5, 6, 7 textbooks. Remember, we're only talking about 10 minutes. Take one textbook, one notebook, a couple of pens if you like colored pens, and take one extra sheet of paper which we're going to use as a distraction sheet. Take a timer with you, and when you think you're ready to begin, switch on the timer. Now pick up your textbook and read actively. Read aloud, shut the book, ask yourself some questions. Maybe you want to make some notes. Try to see if you can remember what you've studied. Highlight, underline, and you're going to find that suddenly something pops into your head saying, hey, you need to call somebody or you need to respond to somebody's message. Now, whatever distracting thoughts get into your head, put all of that down on this sheet that's lying to your side. Come back and study. Write down the thought, come back and study. And towards the end of 10 minutes, just shut the books, switch off the timer, close everything, and walk away from that room. And like all exercise, the first day is usually a bit unusual. But it's possible that what you've accomplished in this 10 minutes is as deep as what you would have accomplished in a whole hour. Gradually try to increase the number of these slots that you take. Don't be in a hurry to increase the length of the slot. There are only 3 rules that you need to follow to make this activity a success. Rule number 1. Every time a distracting thought enters your mind, write it down on that distraction sheet lying on the side. Rule number 2, every time you think you're totally losing concentration, switch it off, close your books and move out. Don't worry about the timer. And rule number 3, never, never, never get your phone into this space. This is a sacred space where you always focus. The moment you allow the distraction into the space, you pollute this space. When you follow these 3 golden rules, you will be able to sit for at least about 45 minutes and concentrate with full focus. And to keep your mind sharp and focused, we also need to have a healthy body. So here are the 3 things you need to look at. 1 is your diet. Eat a diet of healthy food, drink a lot of water, cut down on sugars because that makes us sleepy. 2nd is sleep. Sleep is brain food. It's not only brain food, it is superfood for the brain. So if you can get about 7 to 7.5 hours of sleep every night, you're going to actually increase the ability of the brain to focus and concentrate. And the 3rd thing you need to look at is exercise. A good exercise routine increases the blood circulation and carries oxygen to the brain to help us focus and concentrate. And there's one more little practice session that you need to do every single day. It's called mindfulness. Some people call it meditation. But don't worry, don't be afraid of those big words. All it means is doing one single task at a time and focusing on it. So for example, you're talking to someone, only focus on the person, don't be checking your phone at the time. If you're drinking a glass of juice, think about the glass of juice. Don't be looking at television at the same time. So the goal is that in every activity that you do during the day, do one thing at a time with full concentration, and your mind starts getting trained to focus on the activity that is taking part in. And they say the more you sweat in peace, the less you bleed in war. The more you practice mindfulness and concentration in the little things every day, that attitude is going to carry with you to the high pressure situations of a heavy competitive exam. You're going to be able to focus beautifully in that 3-hour competitive exam without a problem. How to increase your focus and concentration? Tip number 3 is called passion. Now, passion too, like focus, can be cultivated. And I'm going to give you 3 quick ideas on how you can cultivate the passion. The first thing that you need to do is don't start reading the textbook right away on a new chapter and new topic cover to cover. Textbooks are not thrillers, they are boring. So before we open that textbook, how about we get an interesting higher level perspective on the topic that makes us super interested in actually reading that textbook. So a couple of things you can do. You can go to a Khan Academy video. You can go to a Nat Geo video if that's what your subject area is. You could also listen to podcasts, and they sometimes give you this big picture, interesting overview. But the idea is first train your mind to first get interested in the topic and then open the textbook. And again, the textbook we will not read cover to cover. We'll use the SQ3R technique, which we've discussed in the previous video, and you can go back and watch that. I'll drop a link down below as well. The second idea to help you develop passion is to give yourself rewards. Now, when we train our mind, we need a reward at the end. allowing yourself to make that phone call to a friend. It could be playing with your pet, or it could be grabbing that small piece of chocolate once in a while. And the third idea that's going to keep our interest in that subject is to vary our study techniques. If you're reading from a book one time, make notes another time, go to a video a third time, and try different things. And we've got a video to talk about all these interesting study techniques, and I'm going to drop a link below. And finally, for the 3 bonus tips that I had promised to give you, and bonus tip number 1 is called focus on fewer things. Yes, a lot of people will tell you to write down all your priorities in A, B, and C, and they'll tell you that go for the A priority right now, try to do the B later, and if you get some time, look at your C priority. But Warren Buffett says that he writes down all his priorities into A, B, and C, and he only goes for A. He actively dissuades you from looking at the B and the C, and he says those are the distractors. So Bill Gates says himself that the reason for success is because he focuses on fewer things. Bonus tip number 2 is that sometimes the reason we are not able to focus on our goal is because we haven't written down our goal clearly enough. So how about we take a piece of paper and write down our goal very clearly. In 1 month, what is it that I want to achieve? And bonus tip number 3 is called start saying no. Yes, it is. A lot of people will tell you that you need to say yes to everything, you need to be positive, but I'm saying to you, start saying no. And this is in tandem with focus on fewer things. When somebody comes up to you with an idea, and chances are it's like, hey, this is so exciting, how about I go ahead and do it? Tell the person, let me think about it. And I suggest sleep over that idea, wake up the next morning, and unless it is exactly in line with those 1, 2, 3 items that you had in your A priority list, say no. And that's all from me for now. And in the meantime, press the subscribe button, and the most important thing is that bell icon, so you get to know every time we go online. And happy watching!